And then there's a problem where, a property owner pumps one winter and it's frozen and there's some issues. At least as we went to the 6 feet deep, that's as deep as we can go with your existing storm sewer. So we're doing as best as we can with the depth that we had. But, right, we did have that discussion, and we can certainly discuss it with the
Just
council.
want to go on record that I think this is an overkill. You're disturbing a tremendous amount of additional earth. You're having to replace that earth. You're having to sod or seed that earth. We talked tonight about encroaching on roots and things of that nature, which means you're getting closer and closer from the curb to the right-of-way. I mean, everything about this reeks overkill.
Dan, did you state this is the industry standard when doing this kind of work?
Well, I mean,
for non-insulated pipe?
Well, it's usually we don't insulate when we're 6 feet or less. But from an industry standard, I mean, our drain tile that we have in other parts of the city isn't at 6 feet. We're putting it deeper in this area. So from a standard of drain tile, I think Councilmember Fay, I mean, you bring up good points. This one is kind of going at a deeper depth based on just the history of the issues in that area.
Is this going to be consistent with any drain tile that we put in on Independence and Howard as well?
No, it will be deeper than that drain tile. So the drain tile that we're putting in is usually in that 3-foot depth in other parts of the city.
Okay, so this is specifically just the Maple Ridge Park.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because of the history with the
Correct.
ice stands and the water and
And I
everything,
can tell
right.
you that the city did put in some drain tile in that area to run through the park many, many years ago. And I'm not exactly sure what the depth was of that drain tile, but it froze out within the first few years, and it hasn't worked for 20 years, and there's just drain tile down there that's all broken up. I can say that given the my own view of the project when it did freeze up there, and how it was the early January and there was 3-4 inches of ice on the road, but it was amazing to me that water coming out of those homes created a absolute green path to the street with bright green grass. I think given where the water table is on these properties, I would really recommend to council to play this as safe as possible. Even if it does cost a few extra bucks, the consequences of it freezing
At
is
6
dramatic.
feet, will we be in the water table? Are we going to have to de-water just to put in drain tile?
Not that we're anticipating. We didn't take soil borings in this area, but we, when we're digging your water main and your sanitary sewer in other parts, we haven't had to de-water with those.
Okay. All right, thanks.
I'm not an engineer, but I understand numbers somewhat. So what's like the cost difference between going 5 foot to 6 foot on something like this? Is it just ballpark? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it probably, usually when we bid depths of pipe, a lot of times if you have a sewer at 8 feet deep, 8 to 10 feet, it's a certain price. And if you go that same sewer pipe at 10 to 12,
Okay.
we usually estimate $2 to $4 a foot is what it might add for a cost.
Like cubic foot you're talking, or like per linear foot?
Per linear foot.
Okay.
So if we look at this stretch, let's see, we're about 152, 53, so 300 feet. So
Maybe
just
talking about $600,000 tops.
Councilmember Broda,
Yeah.
I'll concede the
Yeah.
point now that I know it's just.
Yeah, I mean,
now that it's just.
Because that's all that mattered to
now
me
that-
is like
now
the
that
price
it's
difference.
Just
but,
these
yeah.
properties and not
Okay.
all of Independence
Okay.
and Howard included, so.
All right, I think we are ready to vote on resolution number 18-02626-01, so looking for a motion on that resolution.
Well,
Are
since
we-
I held this up, I'll make the motion
Okay.
to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Fay,
And I'll second.
second by Councilmember Broda. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Okay, Councilmember DeLuca.
I would hope staff has also, I know we're gonna be doing another public meeting with the Parkview and Maple Ridge folks, and I think that's a good idea. But I think realistically, given our discussion we had earlier about trees, with this, we're gonna take some trees out along Parkview. and there's some pretty big trees in there. So I hope those landowners know that.
Yeah, well, if it hasn't been communicated, it will be communicated. Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of resolution 18-02626-01 approving that?
I'm gonna jump in
Oh,
real
sorry.
quick. Like an ordinance, we're gonna just do this one roll call and move on from there.
Okay.
Councilmember Broda.
Aye.
Councilmember Cahill.
Aye.
Councilmember Fay.
Aye.
Councilmember DeLuca.
Aye.
Mayor Moskowski.
Aye.
The ayes have it 5-0.
All right. Next item of business is payment request number 3 and final water treatment plant deep well number 4 connection.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In your packet was the final payment request on the water treatment plant, deep well number 4. Though, as mentioned in, I think, the previous discussion, the well has been running for quite some time. The contractor has completed punch lists on the project. We got some of the final paperwork that you need when you're closing out some IC 134s, lien waivers, consent of surety. And so we are recommending the final payment on the project for $16,584.41, and that includes some of that change order work that the council reviewed back in December and kind of approved. So at this point in time, I can answer any questions on this final payment request.
I will not hold this up, but just a question and a comment. The comment is, or the question is, we had $6,500 worth of change orders, and we came in $6,500 under the expected cost of the project. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I guess that's it. That's just the question, not the comment.
Around 67, that 67.
All right, you
65.
numbers people.
I'd like to make a public comment to all of the staff that was involved with this whole project. I think this project went very well. It is a great project for giving us long-term water capacity. Bobby, thank you for initiating this early in the process, getting us thinking in this direction. The project went smoothly. The contractors got their work done. We got a great well out of the deal. We got improvements to the water system. We're a better city because of this project, and thank you.
Thank you.
Well said. Right.
Superhuman powers this well has, right?
Absolutely. This is the best of the best.
Can
And
we
no
vote
radium.
all by
And low
ourselves?
radium.
low radium.
All right. With that, looking for a motion to approve payment request number 3.
So moved.
Moved by DeLuca,
Second?
second by Cahill. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. Next item of business, council reports. And we will start with Councilmember Cahill.
Well, it's been a while since we do reports, so I'll try and keep it short. But I did attend the elected officials conference with the mayor, and we learned lots about communication and how dealing with crisis communication and situations. I also attended the fire department awards night, and it was great to see lots of family members and community members turn out to support our wonderful fire department and to hear about all the great work they've done in the past year. I also attended the swearing in of Officer Cody Thompson, and I know he's been on the force for a little bit. It was just his official swearing in, but again, just welcome again to Officer Cody. So,
Thank you.
mhm.
Councilmember Fay.
I was fortunate enough to spend 1/3 of this month snowmobiling in northern Minnesota, where there is no cell phone coverage or Wi-Fi coverage, so I was completely out of touch with city business. Needless to say, the first couple of weeks of the month, I too attended the swearing-in ceremony. I also too attended the awards banquet at the fire hall. One meeting of Pioneer Sarah Creek, and I do not think it's premature to mention that I have been fundraising for Rotary in an effort to help offset costs associated with a potential street dance in June as a fundraiser for Northside Park.
Thank you. Councilmember DeLuca.
And I too spent a good chunk of the last month or so away. We were in India for almost 3 weeks, and I did get a chance when I got back to attend the Fire Relief Board meeting. It's always encouraging to see our firefighters and talking through how they're doing their work and how we're taking care of our firefighters. And did have the privilege of attending the open house last week, which I thought was very good. We had a packed audience full of residents that on our project that was encouraging, and I think everybody was here. So those are always good meetings to engage the public.
Thank you. Councilmember Bowden.
I traveled nowhere, but I did do my part to make sure that Maple Plain is a growing city. At least Mandy did. I was there for moral support. So since the last meeting, we welcomed the newest Maple Plain residents, at least at the time. And, you know, he timed it just right. I didn't have to miss any city council meetings for it. So,
We know how disappointed you are about that.
yeah, good job, Mason. But did go to the Fire Commission meeting in January, and some exciting things coming up with the capital improvement plan, some items they're going to be adding and replacing there. We have the Fire Awards Night I went to as well. Just very, very well done, and a great little initiative by Chief McCoy to honor the firefighters and keep that going forward. And then also just coming up on March 31st, Saturday, 9 a.m. we have a little community event here at Northside Park, Easter egg hunt. So there's about 10,000 eggs we have preparing for that. We usually have 200 to 300 kids that show up. So you do the math. It's a good haul for each kid. But get there at 9 because it's over in like 4 minutes. So it goes really fast. So
Is there an age limit on kids?
Yes. We're too old.
if you can walk
Asking for a
or
friend.
be carried, I think it's infant all the way up to 12th grade we're doing. So
I as well have been in Maple Plain this entire month and have been keeping busy. I was able to attend the Northwest Hennepin League meeting, the Regional Council or Mayor's meeting. I was able to attend the Police Commission Drug Task Force annual meeting, and that's always a great time to honor our staff and the hard work they do and just the partnership in the service. And just kudos for all the drugs taken off the street and all the great work that group is doing. And enjoyed the league training. And just council's been really busy. Lots of great things. We're always, the fire department awards, joint meetings, EDA, the public gatherings. It's good to be out there and out and about and visible. So thank you to everyone for being available and making all those things a priority. And thank you to everyone else for including us on those things. It's important to keep that working relationship ongoing. Any other business? Okay, we do have one visitor to be heard. Judy Sutherland, please come to the microphone, state your name and address.
Hello, Judy Sutherland, 4865 Main Street East. I had 2 comments, and you mentioned the snow. We do plow the daycare on Main Street, and normally they'll plow into the sidewalk. So Chuck gets it clean, and then he comes home, and then they come through and plow. Maybe not this last time I didn't get up there, but when they plow to the middle, that really helps because they pay for us to do that. And I call it the Schultz building or the Blaha building. I'm assuming because there's no businesses there, that's why our city they don't have to do that. Okay. Because even across from the post office by the library, that gets to be out so far, and I don't know if it's a Bobcat has to come and clean it. It's a tough spot, to park because they clean the sidewalk off and then there it sits. And the county plows it, throws it back on the sidewalk. Anyway, so tell the boys it's really nice when it goes down the middle because, when we charge the daycare to clean the sidewalk, we have to go back up there. Anyway, tell the boys it was nice down the middle. The other thing, I was shocked. The one neighbor that watched, wasn't there a fire at in October, maybe at the collision corner.
Yes, there was that event that takes place.
Somebody watched the fire department. Ben Anderson grabbed the hose, went up to the fire hydrant, hooked it all up, and he went like this. There was no water. Justin McCoy comes running and says, "No, hook it to the one up the hill." And the neighbors, so that meant there's no water in that hydrant. Do we have, and you'll have to ask, you won't know, but are there many hydrants that are not hooked up to water that we need to worry?
No, in fact, this is the first I'm hearing about this
Yep,
right now.
and it would
so,
be the
Thank you for
hydrant-
bringing that.
Yep, at the
Or
hydrant
attention.
down by K-Bid.
Yep.
Because they had to run up the hill and
Sure.
Ben didn't know it. Justin
Yeah.
did.
Well,
So he kept saying, go up the hill, so they had to unhook and go up. And
sure.
when he told me they sat and watched that, I said, well, then I wondered,
Yeah.
do we have more hydrants that
Not that I'm.
somebody needs to know about?
Not that I'm aware of. I know that every year we do hydrant flushing,
Right?
and we do. Well, every hydrant that I was aware of until this specific one. So I'll have to look into it. I believe that it would be an isolated incident, but a very good point to look into for
Yeah,
sure,
that's
Judy.
just what I wondered,
Yep,
because,
that's a.
was
We
kind
want
of
to
a-
make sure that those are all working. Those are pretty important.
exactly.
So
That's
If a
all I
hydrant
wanted.
is out of commission, don't they typically put a yellow bag over that?
typically,
Hydrant?
there's a different colored cap potentially on
Yeah,
top of the
so-
hydrant.
Better
that
not be yellow,
signifies
because
that-
there's a lot of yellow bags in Long Lake over their hydrants. I thought it was to keep snow out.
Oh,
Well, don't
Well-
quote me, that's why
No,
I'm
I
asking.
won't, I
yeah.
won't.
Typically, you would color the fire hydrant a different color
there.
to signify either the cap on top of it to signify no. I know for an example, we do have one fire hydrant by our well, our new well that we did, and that that would only work in a certain situation, so the cap is colored a different color.
But they know
or
that.
That's been talked about.
Right,
But
right.
yes.
Okay.
But this situation,
Yeah,
like I
check
said,
it
we'll
out.
have to
I
look
just
into
thought,
it.
you know, you're not gonna know, but you can ask them, and I thought, I didn't wanna call them.
Sure, sure.
Okay, that's all I needed.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Judy.
Yep.
All right. Having no more visitors to be heard, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I second.
Moved by Julie, second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the meeting is adjourned at 8:20.